able to crack to get a database of your passwords. And as you can see, it only takes a few minutes with a very powerful computer to be able to get back an encrypted password and put it back in raw form where you can actually read it. I'm trying to go through this quick because I see that they're trying to look at it. So the best practices are to make sure that you protect not only your phone, but you have to have a holistic control system that puts in consideration the hardware, the operating system, and so I will give you ideas of how you can make sure you log in onto applications that are secure. Your host is your computer. It has to be secured, and I'll give you ideas here. You must have antivirus on your phone. I don't know how many of you have antivirus on your phones, because if you don't, it is very likely that someone will come and get into your phone and do whatever they want, and you won't know it. So make sure you go into, if you use Google Play, whatever you use, make sure that you have antivirus. Make sure that your computer has a firewall and that it's turned on, because if it's not, someone will be able to get on the network and get into your computer or your phone without a problem. Protect your operating system. Make sure you have security updates. Now, like I said, there's still a risk with that, because the state can work with MTN, with those telcos, and send you security updates that are being granted with a toolkit, like we mentioned. Use strong passwords, and that means if you can, make them at least 12 characters. I will give you ideas about how to make strong passwords, but I think we are running out of time. So this thing about multi-factor authentication, I'll go back here real quick. Make sure that when you have your social network accounts, that if you have Facebook, if you have Google, go and turn on multi-factor authentication, because it is very easy. There have been so many data breaches, and in these data breaches, we have had my data was breached by Facebook, and when I go into the website there, I'll show it to you. It's called "Have I Been Pwned?" It tells me that these are all the breaches where my account was included, and I'll see it. And I go and change my password right away, because that means that is what they call the dark web. Someone will go and buy your information and try to get into your computer. So this guy was in India trying to get into my Facebook account, but then he was not able to because he did not have my phone. And multi-factor authentication means you have a password, and it's something that you have. Something you have is a phone. So if they don't have your phone, they are out of luck, because your phone will now, if they steal your password, your phone will come, a message will come. You're trying to log into this, put in this PIN, and then they don't have that. Avoid social engineering and malicious software. We talked about that. Back up your data, especially for people from Uganda. You have to have a cloud backup, because I've had journalists and other media houses where the government comes and says they're taking all your stuff, all your computers. Well, they can take whatever they want if you have your data in Google Drive or OneDrive, whatever it is. They'll come and take your computers, but all your stuff will be there. And it's very cheap. So fraud, make sure you don't type you do not go to any website that does not have security encryption, which means you have to have HTTPS, or when you get into a Wi-Fi like we did today, make sure you use VPN. Now, Wi-Fi for Marriott might not have the same vulnerabilities as your small hotel in Mobende or wherever. So be vigilant and use VPN software. This is just an example of the tools people use to get into your systems. But in summary, phishing is the #1 way of taking your information. So avoid any emails where someone sends you a link. Use strong passwords, use multi-factor authentication, install security updates, or when you're on public Wi-Fi, use HTTPS or VPN, install personal computer firewall, install antivirus systems, back up your data and application, be aware of social engineering, secure your cloud and social media, be aware of spyware and install anti-malware. And the spyware, you know, the Pegasus system, I think they used it, Mr. Kagame used it, and he was able to install it on a political opposition person, and they were able to get into his phone and take all the private information he needed. I wanted to give you this website, if you can see it. It's have I been pwned? Haveibeenpwned.com. It will tell you where any of your personal information has been breached. And there have been many breaches like that. And now, I know we are out of time. This one you have to get. The FBI has a site where if it's a Uganda government following you in America and they are trying to get they're trying to get into your computer or your phone, you can report it to FBI. It's FBI Investigate, Counterintelligence, and Transnational Repression. They are not supposed, if you run away from Uganda, they are not supposed to come and follow you into the United States because they are breaking the law. Also, check, every year you are allowed to get a free credit report. So on there you can see if someone has been able to breach you and created an account on your behalf. So thank you very much. I know I've lost points because I went over, but I hope it's helpful.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mutiara. Next, we're going to have, and I'm sorry, I think if you have any questions, try to follow up with the presenters. Next, we have Mr. Martin Biakuleka, who will be presenting an individual paper, not representing a chapter, but one of the individual papers. Mr. Biakuleka, you're welcome. Mr. Biakuleka's paper is on implications for democracy and good governance.
We need to support Richard
Hello? Hello, thank you so much. Our guests, it's a pleasure to see you and meet some of you for the very first time. Ladies and gentlemen, my paper is a little big, so I have a few minutes and I will just say a few points from it. I will avail it on some other channel where you can see it, but for now, I will just give a few points. I was asked to look at the relationship between two countries, Uganda and the United States, and the implication of those relations on democracy and good government. Now, I must say that every country in the world wants to deal with the United States. The reason is, the United States is a very powerful country. And besides, the second point, the United States has for so many years been the main purveyor of democracy in the world. I must say that it is losing credibility, the second point, but it remains the world power. Now, the relationship between Uganda and the United States today is a little bit absurd. I must say it's absurd because the United States, which is the biggest democracy in the world, is actually having a negative impact on democracy in Uganda, and it is dealing with Uganda, which is a major dictatorship in Africa. So for a big democracy to deal with a major dictatorship, that is what we call in English an aberration. It is a mistake and it's something not right. But today, the world has no shame. The United States can be the biggest democracy but still help other countries to become dictatorships. So the world has no shame. It is a big misnomer, but again, what do we do? When you examine the relations between countries, you will find out that these are not like love affairs between people. Countries work without other countries because they have interests. So when a country is dealing with another country, it is because of interests that it wants to achieve or obtain. Long time ago, the United States was the only country that could deal with other countries out of the desire to help. Now, that was in the 17th century and the 18th century. This is when they developed that idea. The idea during the Enlightenment, or the time before the Age of Reason, when men were thinking about all problems of the world, many problems of the world, including knowing who God is. Because as you remember, or as you recall, they used to look at a big mountain and say, I think that is God. Then, during the Age of Reason, they said, we can't do that. Let us examine where the big mountain came from. Then they said, it is a factor of tectonic movements. So that one is actually not God. So let's rethink about God. Now, in that time, some men came up with an idea that people who are wealthy or who are rich should, in a civilized way, take it as a responsibility to help people who are poor. Now, that became the founding stone of the United States foreign affairs, to help societies out there of people that were poor. That was the foundation of the USA. I think all of you know the USA. That is the oldest foreign affairs of the United States of America. And that is why you see that even today, for those countries that don't exactly have very good relations with America, like Russia and China, still America can help them because the foundation used to be humanitarianism. America was helping human beings without due regard to anything else. Today, things have changed. America has become more selfish, America has become more mean, and America has become more brutal. We have international problems that are very challenging. For example, you have seen some electric cars driving around, like the Tesla. But can you imagine that none of those electric cars does more than 500 miles on a single charge? Now, this is still a big problem. Actually, I, for one, I can't buy that car until it can do more than 500 miles. As it is right now, it is just stupid lifestyle. I'm driving from here to the University of North Carolina, which is almost 400 miles. And suppose I'm going to come back, that's 800 miles. So what will the Tesla help me? And I'm going to charge for 1 hour for it to be able to help me. So the thing is, these technologies now have been found wanting, but there are certain chemicals, there are certain minerals in this world that can help speed up some of these technological innovations so that they are more useful to human beings. And unfortunately, most of these minerals are found in Africa. Now, all the powerful countries in the world want these minerals. That's in the world. But there's another dynamic. Whereas America would like to go out there and compete for these minerals and engage in all those other conflicts so that it gets these minerals, the American voters are tired of America's intervention abroad. So what America does, and this is very important for our people to understand, is to find proxies that can go out there and get for America those things, like those minerals, which America desires so much without America's direct intervention. Something happened in 1993 that made American voters change their mind. The Americans were fighting Islamic militants in Somalia, and one of their helicopters, it's called a Chinook, was shot by the Islamists in Somalia. It came down with a thud. 18 Rangers died. One of the Rangers, his body was pulled in the streets of Mogadishu, and the images were all shown in this country, with a white guy being pulled in the streets of Mogadishu by a bunch of, I won't use the bad word, but some Africans in Somalia. So the Americans were very angry. That is the time that a policy began. That policy is called No Boots on the Ground. So America started a policy of going abroad to do for Americans, but without any boots on the ground. And then America, once again, started using what we call proxies. Now, the most popular proxy in the world today, besides people like Saddam Hussein, who were the precursors, and the Mujahideen in Afghanistan, is Yoweri Museveni of Uganda. Now, Yoweri Museveni is very important to America because he does America's bidding abroad and he fits the policy of no boots on the ground. America finds Museveni more useful than you guys. You Ugandans. You are clamoring to let Museveni go. And this is contrary to what America wants. America wants their Museveni. So they don't care about you. Now, with the situation you find yourselves in, you must be very strategic in engaging Museveni in your struggle, in engaging America in your struggle against Museveni. You must be extremely strategic. You need very creative leadership. You need brains. I am very happy that my brother Katana is well versed in liberation philosophy, and I really would want Waiswa to spend a lot of time with Ndugu Katana, because his concepts of liberation philosophy are very good. Spend time with him. So what do we do? How do we engage with these people? Number one, we should stop thinking that someone else is going to come and help us, because that guy also has his interests. And there's nothing we can do about his interests. So we got to do it ourselves. But in order to do that, we must have determination. We must have determination. And I think we are already determined enough, and we can do this. The other point I thought that I should touch on is there are very few we should, when we're engaging with America, focus. Remember that this is a democracy. A democracy has certain things that are peculiar to democracy. The leaders in this country have no power. That is something you should remember. Unlike Uganda, where someone threatens you because he is driving his brake on you and he has a gun and something. Here in America, the leaders have no power. The power belongs to the voter. And this has happened before. When South Africa the South Africans, the ANC was engaging with America against apartheid, and you must recall that all the governments here in America were supporting apartheid. Exactly the same situation we are in right now. Ronald Reagan was working with the white people against apartheid. So the ANC had to work with America to defeat apartheid. So you know what they did? They went to the universities, they went to the churches, they went to all local organizations where the small American is found. Because it is that little small American who has the vote. And it is that little small American who is the boss of the American people. So you should have that at the back of your mind. Number three, the NUP must consciously position itself like a worthy and credible substitute for Museveni. There's one day I went for a meeting here in Washington. For those who know me, I have been incessantly in this struggle. And when I reached there, I spoke to the leader of the organization and some two other people. And they asked me a question which made me very angry, but I managed to contain myself. They said, "Oh, so now, are you saying Mr. Kyagulanyi can be the president of Uganda?" Can you imagine that? Because for them, they can't imagine business without So I said, oh yes, because he is the very embodiment of the people. He is carrying aspirations and promises of humanity. And when you look and see all those people that support him, it does not matter how he speaks. It doesn't matter how many degrees or diplomas he has or he doesn't. He is a representative of the people. And for that matter, he's worth it. Now, I must say that we are closely monitoring developments in the world. And I tell you guys, don't look at the way things are and feel weak. We have really done well. We, as in the NUP, we have done very well. I tell you this because I have seen it. We have circumnavigated and paralyzed Museveni and his government in this country. They started by wanting to get the oil from the ground, and we said no. And for them, they think we are not patriotic and we are not nationalists. We are. We want the money of the oil very much. We want that oil to come out of the ground, let them sell it, and let it develop our country. But we know the kind of leaders we have. They are thieves. When that money comes from the oil, they are going to steal all of it. These guys are so pathetic that they have even started stealing the oil before it is officially out of the ground. These people are so pathetic that the other day they went to Russia and bought airplanes against the oil which has not yet been mined.
Oh my goodness.
We shall pay you, we have oil. Why didn't you go to France and get hospital equipment against that oil? And so we shall pay you against the oil. Why did you get airplanes? These airplanes, they have a Sukhoi 35. A Sukhoi 35 will fly from Nimule to Kisoro in 2 minutes. Why did you buy it? Why did you buy it? If you're in a war with Egypt, if you're in a war with South Africa, that makes sense. Ugandans need it for what? We're not even in war with those people. So Museveni is a militarist. He thinks only in military terms. He's like a carpenter who thinks that every problem must be solved with a hammer. Anyway, the oil, we refused it to come out of the ground. We spoke to General Electric and said, please don't go there. And we presented it in a lot of sense, and they haven't gone. We have done well, comrades. We have done very well. We have spoken with our friends on Capitol Hill, and we have gotten travel restrictions for a lot of people. You see, when I say the leaders in NUP must aspire to be knowledgeable, I'm very serious about that. When these guys, when they are talking with you, they assist you to see how competent or incompetent you are. The other day, we had a demonstration against the IMF because there was about $1 billion that had to be disbursed for COVID and all that. And our people went and demonstrated. And some of us were behind We are not saying don't give money to Uganda. That's not what we are saying. We are very patriotic, you know. But we know our people. Most of that money is going to be marked. What is that term you use in Parliament, which Museveni likes very much? Classified. Most of it is going to be classified. Classified means Museveni and his people directly will steal it. That's what it means, direct. So we ended up saying, let's do this. Instead of 1 million, cut it in 4. Give them a little and ask for accountability. If they give you that, give them a little more. Now, when your people hear you reasoning like that, they know they are dealing with people who are capable of taking over. So aspire to educate yourselves. And then with that, you will be very respected. Last day, as night follows day, Museveni will go. Some of us are not saying, you know, he will die, is it what? No. We shall speed up that process. We don't, because our people are suffering a lot. So, dear Ugandans, we think about you. We know that you look at us in the diaspora and have hope. Continue to have that hope, because we are not seeing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. President. I know Mr. Simakwa, you also want to do downstairs. If you want to come and make your presentation, be quick, and then we shall have Colorado chapter after you.
Okay.
So, Mr. Simakwa,
Olusanya babitunda.
be presenting an individual paper.
Good evening. I'm presenting a paper research about it's a topic. The role of the Ugandan diaspora in fighting for democracy and human rights for our country. I'll try to give you how the doctor said. Pretty much, my paper tries to explore the significant role which the Ugandans role and elimination of authoritarianism in our country. I base my argument and research on the people government to subscribe to and all of you, especially I'm looking at the last 5 years where the NUP people power under the leadership of Honorable the President Salwan Sekam came into play in regards to politics in our country. And I'm discussing reasons behind the prominence of we Ugandans in advancing the agenda of seeing a new Uganda and a new leadership of the President. Our fellow countrymen also look at the specific contributions we Ugandans are doing. And I based my submission basically on the way we've been able to publicize information which the regime really tries hard to suppress. What I mean is, there are some stuff the regime in Uganda using media outlets like NBS and others cannot show the world, but us here in the diaspora can show the world. I also talk about our role in advocating for democracy and human rights reforms in asking countries where we live to cause change to our country in Uganda. I'm trying to be as brief as we can. My introduction basis on letting you know what
the term diaspora means. Honestly, diaspora means it entails the consciousness and emotional attachment to those who are origin. In that period, as a Semakula, I know when I live in the United States, I remain Ugandan by default or by whatever. And over the past few years, our Ugandan diaspora has increasingly become a significant player in Uganda's cultural arena. One prominent politically active Ugandan community is us, the People Power Movement, which was initiated in 2018. You know, following the emergence of Honorable His Excellency Robert Chagulanyi Ssentamu on the scene of politics. We serve as an activist and advocacy arm of the National Unity Platform. Pretty much in recent years, we've seen different organizations and groups being paramount and instrumental in advocating for change in the country. I'll give an example. For instance, the Chukwuka, Armenian American communities. They represent a very strong lobbying force in Washington, D.C., just like what Comrade Martin said. The lucky groups played a crucial role in encouraging American militarization in Boston. Countries such as Israel, America, consider their people strategically vital political assets, while countries like India and the Philippines recognize their recognize their citizens through what they contribute through remittances. And I think it's something we are doing here. The Ugandan government seems to downplay our role as Ugandans who live here. But if you look at the statistics and what we give into the economy of our country, it is paramount. And several factors have really made us to act and be prominent on the world stage, including advancement in communication technologies, our policies which allow us to have that freedom to say what we want without fearing for nothing. And these have really energized the young men and women and all generations of Ugandans to seek and ask for change. In the case of our country, we really played a pivotal role in advocating for change. For instance, the People Power Movement in the UK, the United States and Canada have taken a bold step in speaking to partners of Uganda. We've achieved so much through meetings, just like what Comrade Martin said. We speak to senators, congressmen, and people who matter in the great politics of this country. We are also, the Ugandan diaspora holds a special heart in the place of Ugandans. All of us want Uganda, love Uganda, we just hate each other, right? And this we've achieved through a lot of dedication and hard work. We have also maintained emotional, cultural, and spiritual connection with our country, which really resonates well with the people of Uganda. We've done, when I say we, I mean the People Power Movement, we've done the major significant contributions to the fight for democracy and human rights. One way is done it through the publicizing of information that the Museveni regime doesn't want to know. We have been inspired by actions from other groups, such as those Arab Spring uprisings, what happened in Libya, what happened in Sudan, Tunisia, and Egypt. We have leaders and communities who are teaching at universities. Case in point is happening and others who go to these colleges and teach young children and American citizens and Ugandan Americans about what exactly is going on in the country. I think, to me, that's a major boost to our manage and how is managed and being mismanaged by the care. Another strategy really employed by the Deputy President, and I think it's very, very important. The People Power Movement is protesting when these guys visit here. They want our president is here, no one is just here. But I can give you an example. Last year they sent out a youth. President Museveni came. General Museveni was the Washington DC, and you couldn't really conflict the street because Ugandans were demonstrating all over the West. I think to me that's the past. They're really making like so we do not put them in a place of a board in the business. And we also know what happened in the United Kingdom when the former Super Minister John Patrick Amama-Mbabazi was in London on June 18th. You know, folks, the likes of Patricia Sewon and others went and really demonstrated in front of his hotel. I'm trying to, you know, I'm trying to summarize my presentation. Oh, sorry. We've also played an integral role in pursuit for justice. We take initiatives to prosecute folks who torture Ugandans. We have a case in point of the Premier General, Kaigura. We all know how people cannot come here, and we all know how MK couldn't come to the United States. So these are avenues and plans orchestrated by the team leader and others to make sure that those who abuse human rights in Uganda cannot come to the United States, or they never miss the UK or Australia. We're just making it a norm to ensure that if you abuse others, then you shouldn't come here. If you come here, we step up and ask for and we are also practicing and asking host countries. When I say host countries, I mean, for instance, the US, to put a lot of energy and emphasis to countries like Uganda, which abuse human rights. We've got support for what we're doing, especially those who follow politics at the Capitol Hill. You know, Senator Paul Mendes is always writing about Uganda, is always presenting about Uganda. Senator Kugo, is it Cory Booker, right? Cory Booker. Yeah, he's always protesting of what's going on in Uganda. These are things that the People Power Movement, under the leadership of Dr. Kauma and other people like Martin, and those we know and those we don't know, but known to us and the leaders, things we do behind the curtains. We also have a group, like the one with Robert Gabriel Boston. They demonstrate every day. So it's part of our agenda to ensure that we have we seek us that probably the United States should think more and boldly talk about what we see happening in Uganda, and they shouldn't send us ambassadors who are really, I wouldn't say the same, but really lazy. You have one ambassador who sees people being shot in the street but can't make a report. You're going to meet these representatives asking questions. Are you guys real? When we were watching the movie in New York, Beverly Hills, these guys couldn't believe what they were seeing. Someone shooting, gunshots on the street, and they'd be like, is it real or you say it's real? So Uganda is bleeding, and I think we should call upon the US government, especially those of the powers, those who vote in our constituencies, reach out to all these senators and tell them that, we need something better. We can't look on as black people being massacred right left and center at the expense of white folks not being serious. All they're looking up is oil and gold and stuff like what we see in Uganda. As I wind up, Mr. Chairman and Mr. Moderator, I'll jump a couple of things here. What I can say is that we must, as Uganda Americans, the Ugandans, that record. To effect change in Uganda, we must employ strategies such as influencing country policies towards bad behaviors. We should form interest groups, to form long-standing organizations, to core regions to address specific issues. We must provide direct information to legislators and policy elites, like I think who said it, I think Martin. Sometimes when we go to meet the folks in Washington, D.C., we don't go there with streamlined information. We sometimes give off-baked information. We seem a little bit confused. We do not speak the realities. We do not have all the data collected well. I think that is detrimental to our success and struggle. So moving forward, I think we must improve on that. If you demonstrate, give the facts. Do not grab a picture of the internet and present it as a picture from Uganda. Yet you have the likes of Masudi or the Lonadis and all these folks still on the streets. We should provide exactly what's real, and there should be documentation for that matter. Ladies and gentlemen, as I wind up, I think we should play a crucial role in advocating for democracy and human rights in Uganda. We should always publicize information that the regime doesn't want to see. We should organize protests. We should pursue justice. We should have reforms. And we should provide information to other comments of ours. No, it's simple. In here, now, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Samakula. Colorado chapter. 8 minutes.
Dakika zigenda zesa.
Tunatukira nga sigadde nnya. Nga tutokola kunnya. Balandako baba.
Thank you so much. I don't know whether they will be able to put up the PowerPoints, but all the same, I'll be able to say something. And most of what I'm going to say has been said. My topic is rethinking relationships between Uganda and the USA concerning healthcare. As you heard already, the United States established diplomatic relationships with Uganda since 1962, when Uganda gained independence from the UK. And of those 60 years that United States has been in relationship with Uganda, almost 40 years it has been in relationship with the current regime, which we are trying to, get rid of. And the reason it has really wanted to work with this current regime is because the current president, Mr. Tihawa Burwa, has promised regional stability. Yes. So he has promised regional stability, and that's why they have tried to work with him. But also the US has long-standing relationship in respect to health, primarily focused on combating infectious diseases, stroke epidemics like HIV, tuberculosis, malaria, COVID, to mention but a few. In this regard, the President's Emergency Program for AIDS Relief, they call it in short PEPFAR. Will you remember that? That's the fund that has saved so many lives in Uganda, especially from HIV. As you see the name, it was introduced in Uganda to combat HIV, and so many lives have been saved. However, there are challenges to this relationship that necessitate to rethink how the two countries approach health cooperation. The current government does not give priority to health care. When given funds due to corruption in the system, they move donated money to what they call unclassified budget. The members of parliament will tell us, they know this better. So where they use the money for defense, they call it security, defense, but basically to keep themselves in power. They use that for bribes, self-enrichment, abusing human rights, to mention but a few. Okay, so donor money that we get in Uganda comprises of 80% of the money that we receive. But of this 80% that the US sends to Uganda, according to the 2021-23 budget, I want to give you some statistics because about 26% of this went to security, and only 5.1 went to healthcare. So you can imagine. Actually, in Uganda, we don't need security, or we need healthcare more than we need security. Who causes the insecurity in Uganda in the first place? Yes. So instead of wasting the money on buying guns, we should buy equipment that we need, you know, to treat our women, to cure cancer. I mean, we need healthcare as much as possible. I mean, and healthcare is not it. We need other services. We need infrastructure. So basically, Uganda is not badly off. We have all the services we need. We have all the resources we need. But all we need is good governance. And guess what? That's what people power is here to bring to Uganda. Mr. Chabula, and I think people, if we want so much, we are going to bring the good governance that we need to put the money